Okay, we're back. And you might want to start by getting some crucifixes. You'll need them. And maybe a couple of guns, and pitchforks, and cutlasses. Maybe even a weapon from the future that disintegrates people. Where am I going with this? You'll see right now. Oh, what's this? A fake out the Segway in the Spyro the Dragon? No, I'm dead serious here. Call me all sorts of bad things, but I'ma say it now. I love Skylanders! Of all the modern generation franchises to spring up from the woodwork, I have no hesitation in saying Skylanders has very quickly risen up my list of favorite franchises, favorite video games, favorite characters, favorite bosses, and many more favorites faster than any other I have ever experienced. And that's because I adore this series so much, which automatically gets me in the bad books with everyone else. It should be a no-brainer that the internet, specifically the Retro Spyro fanbase, absolutely despises Skylanders. And nobody really seems to be willing to give the series a go. But all I have to say is that these people are doing nothing but shutting out a good series in its own rights. And that's other than Activision's moolah, by the way. Skylanders is one of the premium franchises in the Toys to Life department. By placing a Skylander on the pole of power, it is then set into the world of Skylands for you to play with and as. And from there on, well, the game is your oyster. Plenty of fun combat to engage in, lots of unique worlds to explore, great gameplay, and surprisingly well done combat mechanics for every Skylander. Almost. Every Skylander has their own gameplay style and story to go along with them, ranging from series mascot Spyro and Stealth Elf to popular faces in the likes of Eruptor, Pop Fizz, and Jetpack, to super creative and amazing persona like Fiesta, Splat, Spitfire, and I love me Roller Roll too much! The variety this series provides in both its Skylanders and core gameplay mechanics varies up and is always fun, meaning that there is almost never a dull moment in the series, all helped along by the adventures of each game, minus Imaginators, which will suck you in and capture your interest. I'm not saying that the stories are brilliant, but they have enough of an intrigue factor to keep you invested enough to play on and continue having fun. Not appealed yet? Well, this might win you over. Skylanders is one of the best modern RPGs I have played in a long while. With all different walks of mechanics and gimmicks across the series, from the SWAT Force to the trappable villains to the Imaginators, there is enough variety to go around, and each game has its own way of sorting out the RPG element too. I think I speak on behalf of most when I mention the Portal Master powers of Superchargers. Why'd they drop those? There's a Skylanders game for everyone, I just know it. Heck, the series even has its own great assortment of spin-off titles that are just brilliant! Battlecast and Superchargers Racing ranking high among that list in particular. They're just too good! I love the series because of its whimsical charm, engaging world and characters, and broad appeal, while also being a standalone great series that I can have fun with. Sure, it does have its dark days, but when the series is done right, it's done really right. Superchargers will forever be one of my favorite games of all time.
I love it!
Oh, and have any of you checked out the cartoon on Netflix? Well worth the investment, give it a shot!
Right, Flynn?
That does sound a whole lot better than being eaten, although I'm pretty sure I am delicious. Either way, count me in. Boom!
So far it seems that there are two franchises that I like to talk about on a regular basis. One of them being Skylanders, as I just covered, and the other one being...
Oh, and you have been faked out, yeah?
Probably thought this would be number one, didn't you? Nope, not even close, Haas. Okay, you were actually pretty close, but in terms of what my number one franchise is, okay, before I start spoiling the surprise to number one, let's talk about Crash Bandicoot. Again, if I haven't made it obvious with all the times I have talked about the series on my channel, from the first countdown I ever did, and how I am plainly Ripperoo, it should come as no shock that I absolutely adore the Crash Bandicoot franchise. So why is that? Hello? What is there not to love about this franchise? Okay, to be fair, there is one game in this series that I hate with a passion. Crash to insanity!
I will drop a bomb right in your face for this.
What? Did I say something? There is no such thing as a single most reason why I love the Crash Bandicoot franchise, since my reasons for liking each game is different from one another. And if you saw my first countdown, then you probably know what the reasons are. But the general reason is this. It's fun! Crash Bandicoot 3 offers great gameplay variety, diversity, and options. Crash Mind of a Mutant is combat entertainment done really well. Crash Team Racing is a thoroughly well-designed game that hits all the right buttons. And Crash Tag Team Racing is straight up stupid fun! What more do you want? A good soundtrack? You got it! Almost every song in this franchise is simply gorgeous! From the atmospheric yet subtle and ambient mutato musica tones of the original game, the catchy a cappella songs by Spiral Mouth in Twinsanity, to Mark Barrel's simply stupendous and fantastic work for Crash Mind of a Mutant, to the energy-pumping race music of both Team Racing and Tag Team Racing, and how can you overlook Crash Bandicoot 2's amazing soundtrack? And when you look at the general presentation of the franchise across the years, it has been consistent throughout and always stayed true to itself. Yes, even when Crash was included in Skylanders Imaginators. That is how you write a love letter to the classic fans, everyone. You know, without overdoing it. But there is one other thing this franchise holds for me that so far no other franchise yet has. Nostalgia. Crash Bandicoot is one of the first franchises I ever experienced back in the classic days of the PlayStation. With the exception of the first game, the classic Naughty Dog series and even Crash Bash all hold up and hold a place in my heart. Yes, even Crash Bandicoot 2 despite me not enjoying it as much as others. Really looking forward to the Insane Trilogy. It's tantalizingly close now. Pity I don't have a PS4. But I know what you're all thinking. There is one question that you're all wondering right now, and I will answer it. Yes, people, I can perfectly understand your outrage and your desperate urge to slaughter me. But what could possibly top this glorious series?
Failure again. Capture him!
Uh-oh.
I'm telling you all, you would never have guessed it. Want to know why? Because for some reason, no one ever talks about this franchise. Time to break that duck! Never saw this one coming, did you, mates? That's right, Gran Turismo! Arguably the most legendary franchise in the entire PlayStation lineage. And why do I love it so much? Because of three things: nostalgia, racing, and cars. Nostalgia kind of speaks for itself, but racing and cars? What more can I ask for? I could go on for an entire soliloquy about why I love cars and motorsport, but we'd be here for too long. Especially when I get to the point where I rant about Formula 1. So let's just put all of that to one side and focus exclusively on the Granddaddy series itself. Much like with Crash Bandicoot, I have grown up with the Gran Turismo franchise throughout the generations and loving just about every second of it. Keyword being just. Seriously, Gran Turismo 2 is so boring! But all the other main titles, there is something about them that makes me come back for more and more GT goodness all the time. And really, it has to do with my love of cars and racing. But I wouldn't love cars and racing if not for Gran Turismo. For me, Gran Turismo isn't one of those franchises I can explain in words. Because it's a car racing game, my reasons are more like those as to why you would like a certain type of supercar. I said the same thing about Crash 3 in my first countdown, and I'll say it again here. You can't describe the sensation that Gran Turismo gives you. You can feel it, but you can't describe it. The best I can think of is that it gives you a sense of control and freedom. It doesn't have the hectic action of Need for Speed or the super realisticness to it of the Codemaster games, but it has that sense of control in everything else. How you play the game, your choice of racing style, your racing strategy, your virtual garage, basically everything in the game you have total control over. And the selection of vehicles you can choose from, it just gets better and better with each new game. While the original game started out simple, the series gradually built up its options until it started including some of the most legendary cars in the history of the world. the Lamborghini Miura, the Bugatti Veyron, the Mercedes 300 SL, the Pagani Huayra, and the Ferrari F40. They're just a few examples, but it's more than just standard road cars to start from scratch that you can drive. You can even select some of the most legendary race vehicles in history. The Le Mans Legend Mazda 787B, the Citroen C3 of Rally King Sebastian Loeb, the iconic Pikes Peak hill climb monstrosities, including those driven by Monster Kojima, and even the Lotus Formula 1 vehicle driven by the legendary Ayrton Senna. And every single one of these vehicles looks pristine beautiful! But no, Gran Turismo has more than just great cars. It is some of the most legendary racetracks from across the globe available to race on. From the Monte Carlo Formula 1 circuit in Monaco, Suzuka, Spa-Francorchamps, Monza, Laguna Seca, Le Mans, the Top Gear test track, and even the hailed Nürburgring, to name a few! The games even include different variants and parts of these amazing circuits, such as older versions of Monza and Fuji Speedway, and the shorter versions of Suzuka, Montigi, and the Nürburgring, and many more! But I know no Gran Turismo fan will forgive me if I didn't mention the game world of Gran Turismo. The historic and legendary tracks that the franchise has created over the years, including the unparalleled Grand Valley Speedway, the unfathomable Trial Mountain, the unstoppable high-speed ring, and the completely something midfield raceway. And you also have those legendary dream race cars. Some of them completely change how a car is viewed, such as the CRX Del Sol Limited and the Mitsubishi FTO Limited, while others base themselves entirely around concept cars and puts them into race spec. Just look at the Toyota RC Rally Race car and the NSX-R Concept Racer, for example. But probably more impressively are the cars you will not find anywhere else in the world. The GT by Citroen and the Red Bull X-Range. Some of the best things in virtual existence! However, while I can say all of that about the series confidently, that's not the main reason why I love Gran Turismo so much. The main reason why I love the series so much is because, rather unimaginatively, I do. I just do. Does it have the best story and characters? No. Does it have the best presentation? No. Does it have the best gameplay? No. What it does have above everything else, however, is this. It's what I love. Motorsport. And that's something you can't equal by simply being better than. Gran Turismo is a straightforward, down-to-earth, to-the-point racing simulator. And I couldn't ask for anything more than that. I'm the primordial Clok-Roo, and if you'll excuse me, I've got some engines to rev.